Exactly. So that's one thing with like all the information that we have out there. A lot of people just like try to just like, this is how they say I should do it, so I should just get married to this idea. And then it's like, has it been working for you? No, but they say that it works. Why don't you try something else?
Hey everyone, this is Reyna Torres, and we are Women Creating Magic, and I run my own studio, and I decided to start this podcast so amazing women can sit down comfortably with a cup of tea or a glass of wine to relax and have an open conversation about their experience as women in the entertainment industry. Today's conversation was with Saray Paiva, a spiritual entrepreneur who has just embarked on a new journey for herself with her handcrafted candle business, Growing Lights. Please welcome Saray Paiva.
How'd you start it? Like, to do, what made you want to do like this business?
So, the way I started is actually very funny, because at that point, I was actually broke.
Like everybody's story.
I was actually broke.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was in a very, 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 very tough situation. I didn't have a job. I had a bunch of things happening, like, personally. And then I was literally kind of, like, losing my days on the couch, just, like, watching random things.
Like depression.
Yeah. I was in, like, a very, like, mild depression kind of thing, because I was functioning.
Yeah.
But
we all
very
go through
poorly.
It. You know, we all go through it.
Right.
Funny to say it, but we all go through it. We have people are like, no, I've never got depressed. No, we do. It's just that you don't recognize it. That's the thing. But we all do, and it's a normal thing to go through. Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't realize it was depression until years after.
When you actually look back.
Like, when I looked back, and I was like, oh, that was depression, you know?
Yeah.
But so then I was just surfing in the internet, and I was looking at DIY stuff, and one of those things that came up was candles. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I'm bored. I have nothing to do. And I'm just gonna make candles. Like, I'm just gonna spend my last couple of like bucks just into getting a kit.
Yeah.
So I went to a local like candle supplier, and I bought a kit, and I just started just like making candles in my living room just for fun. And one of my best friends, she knew that I was making candles just for fun, and she had a event all of a sudden. And she called me, and she's like, hey, crazy idea, but would you like to sell some candles in this event that I'm going to? And I'm just like, why not?
Yeah.
Let me just like create a logo and like create a name and a label, and I did all of that within like 5 days. You know, it was crazy. And at that point, I was like really thinking about
the same name that you have now.
No, it's a different name. It's a different name, because I was like, I don't have time to fucking like think about a name. What's easy? And I'm just like, my initial and my mom's initial. So
okay.
So it was called S&S Candles.
Okay.
I was like, I have no time to like overthink this. So, and then at that time, I was very getting into spirituality, you know, and I started to get like very fond of crystals. So I was like, what if I put a crystal in the candle? And I'm like, yeah, that'll make it cool. And then I started making candles with crystals. And, you know, at that point, I was still learning about all that intention settings and the whole, you know, energy that you put in and all that. So I was learning. So I had not had, like, the whole concept of my company defined by then. But I was like, crystals and candles. Nice, pretty, and, like, I'll make something up, like, afterwards. I'll keep working on the concept. And then, so, created the logo, created the labels, and like started making candles and went to my first event. And then after that I was like, this can be a business.
How'd it go?
It went well, you know. I don't remember how much I sold, but I remember being there with the candles and making the whole like setup, like the station, and like just interacting with people. It was fun, you know, because I am a people person. I love being around people. I love talking to people. So it's just like, it just gave me that like interaction and like opportunity to build a little relationship with somebody at the moment of like selling my product, that I really liked, you know. And after that, I was like, well, I'm gonna keep developing this, you know. So I kept developing the whole thing. I kept SNS candles for like the longest time. I think
so. There's like people with that right now. Possibly.
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. But yeah, but it was very interesting because with SNS Candles, what it was SNS Candles, now is Growing Lights by SP. I didn't really have a concept, you know. I wanted to do so many things because I love movies and I love quotes and I love spirituality and I love all that. So like back then the candles were like a potpourri of everything. So
okay.
it wasn't very defined.
Yeah.
First, like SNS is just like my initials or my mom's initial. It doesn't have anything to do with the product.
Yeah.
And then I also had like the candle names were like inspired by movies or stuff like that. And then they will have like a little quote about that movie and about whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the crystal was just there.
So it's just, you kind of was like,
Yeah, so it didn't match, you know?
Yeah.
So at some point I did lose the passion for like making candles, and you know I was like very in my head like I don't want to just like sell a product, you know. I don't want to just go to events and then just sell something that somebody can just like forget about, you know. So I started thinking more about like what do I want to do with this, and then I started thinking of just like I have a crystal in the candle. I set intentions. That's what like I do, you know. I started like growing in my spirituality and like all my stuff, and I'm just like I can make something where people can actually set an intention with and learn what is setting an intention, and like a way for people to focus their energy into something and like then create magic in their life. Just because once you have an intention and you have that energy focus, then you move all like everything, all the waves, all the energies around you start moving, and the magic starts happening. Yeah, which is like very beautiful. And the first believe me, I was super skeptical about all this shit until it started happening, and I'm like, okay, this is real.
No, it is. It is. It's that energy that's being bounced around back and forth. Yeah. Yeah. And then people, when you actually talk to them about it, they're like, no way. Like, oh man. And then, you know, I'm hopefully that everybody who buys your candles, they actually put their intentions in there. And just like light it up and be like, all right, she said to put my intentions. Even if like feels weird for them, I'm pretty sure they're like, all right, let's do this.
Exactly. And like that's the thing is like because then I started developing the brand even more, and I realized SNS is not working anymore with where I want to go.
Yeah, unless it was like a story where your mom taught you how to do candles, and it makes sense why you would use that. Yeah. But in this case, it was just because you're like, shit, I have 5 days, I need to like
I was like, I just need to create something. Yes. so I started just working with 2 friends of mine that they are also like creating, like they're building their own company for helping entrepreneurs to come with ideas and all stuff. And like it was great working with them because in the whole brainstorming we were like, okay, what do you want? And I'm just like, candles are light, and we need to grow together and like all the stuff. So I just at some like after days I was like, growing lights, you know. Nice. Growing lights.
Yeah, it's not easy to people, you should know, when you're trying to come up with the name, it's not easy. Yeah. Even when I started, like, I was trying to think, like, what would be the name of the podcast? And I'm like, okay, what are we? What are you into? Okay, well, what is the whole point? And I was like, oh, we're women. Okay, we're women. And when I went through all the podcasts, there was, like, women bosses, women entrepreneurs, women this, women that. It was just like, wait, no, I need something a little bit different. I need something that makes you think, like, what is this about? And when I put women creating magic, you kind of think about, like, are you like talking about like witchy stuff? And I was like, no, it's, you could say it's like energy and stuff like that. No, it's like literally women, we as our own manifestors, create magic. You know, we do that.
Exactly.
So it's hard. It took me a minute.
Yeah.
It took me a minute. No, but
it's so much fun because like once you get it, it kind of clicks and it's just like this is it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you feel it. It's just like this is it.
Yeah, growing lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just makes so much sense because of like I love this quote that I
even the universe is lighting up to us saying, yes, you're right.
Thank you. Everything is a sign.
Right? It's just we talk about it, the sun's like, yes.
I know. The sun is like blessing us with like the little like all light and energy.
People that are listening to the podcast, literally it was like super, it's like a dim, like it's a really gloomy day today. But we're just talking about like we found our names and the sun came out and it's like
and then angels started singing
yeah, pretty much. It's like the universe and I was like, yeah, you guys found it.
I know. It's like you guys are on track. It's like good to know.
Yeah, thank you, and it feels warm too.
Yeah. So it's so cool when like you find a name and it just like clicks. Yeah. Like it's just like this is it.
You're like this is it.
Like there is no doubt. There is nothing. And what I was gonna tell you is that I love these quote that I always butcher and end up like making my own. But it's just about like a candle does not diminish its light by lighting other candles. It just makes it stronger. You know?
Yeah.
So like you can always share your light with others and that will not mean that your light will get weaker.
No.
If anything, you will light each other. Like everything is just gonna become stronger.
Yeah, if you gotta think about it, your light, even after like, let's say my light, I pass it to someone else, even if the day that I pass away, guess what? Like my daughter will always take this information, like these videos, my daughter can go back and look at it. That fire is still there. I'm still there. And then from there and on and on. So it's never really like, it never stops, basically, which is pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why it's basically called growing light, because I just believe like a candle is light. We are beings with light within us. Like we get to learn how to shine our own light to be an inspiration for others too, so they can shine their own light, and then we're just constantly rising the frequency of the world or the frequency of your family or whatever you want to do. You know, so that's basically why growing light is. And I'm having so many ideas because I don't like candles are just the start of like my vision and my company, because with the candles eventually I get to build a website still, but like each candle has a workbook.
That's actually
where you are
cool.
going to be able to just like, if you don't know how to set your intention, then the workbook is going to guide you into how to set your intention. And it's going to give you a little bit more of background about the candle, you know, or like the crystal that's within the candle. Like I have a candle that's called I Love Myself, which has a rose quartz in it. Yeah, so basically that workbook for that candle is going to tell you like, why did I make a candle about I love myself? And like, why is there a rose quartz in it?
And there's so much information about the rose quartz too.
Like,
so much. My daughter carries like, she has a bucket full of like, she's into crystals too, so she has like a bucket full of stuff like that. I'm constantly finding like things everywhere in the house. I'm just like, what? She'll even take one. She'll sleep with me. She'll take one with her, and then she carries an amethyst with her.
Love amethyst.
Yeah.
Love amethyst. So so basically that's like the start for things, and eventually I want to, like, my vision is to build a platform with growing lights. That's why also like in the name I didn't want anything that will say like candles, because I don't want to limit myself to just candles.
Exactly. Same thing what I said about women creating magic. I say and you're like, what is that? Like growing lights, you're just like, okay, what's growing lights? Yeah, it's more than that. Yeah, it's way more than just candles.
Exactly.
That you're doing. Yeah.
Exactly. So basically eventually I want to offer little 5-minute like little courses in the website or something like that about intention. I want to collaborate with other business owners too, or like other entrepreneurs, like Reiki. Like I don't necessarily know anything about Reiki, but I know people who do.
Yeah.
So I want to find also a way of how we can collaborate so we can build something together where everybody wins, and like you can, like, the Reiki master can be just like an addition to growing lights, and like, you know, just like make it grow.
Yeah.
We're just growing lights together.
Yeah.
And like that is one of the things that I had to realize myself. I don't need to know everything.
No.
I don't, because at some point I'm like, okay, but if I'm gonna like implement Reiki, I need to learn about Reiki, and like I don't have the time.
When did you realize you're like, I don't need to know this? Like I should know, I know what it's about, but to go in depth, like, you know, that's not something, you know, I'm gonna go pursue. When did you like make that distinction of like, okay, I'm not gonna do that? Like, and it's okay. And you said it's okay.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, that happened very recently.
Ah.
That just happened about like a week or two ago. That like that came into my head. It's like, I don't have to do everything. Like, you know, and I think I was speaking with a friend of mine, and we were talking about like the whole business, and I was like, oh my God, I want to make so many things, but like, then how am I gonna learn about all of these and be reliable to people if I'm gonna be like, how am I gonna put myself in the website, like teaching something that I've learned for 5 months when there are people who have like studied these for like years. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
They're masters above it.
And then she was like, but well, you don't have to. You can always just like, you know, collaborate with somebody who does know their thing. And I'm like, what? I don't have to do it all by myself?
Yeah.
And so that's where like, oh my God, this is starting to look much more doable.
Yeah, because it just opened up another door for you. You're like, collaboration.
Exactly. And like when she said that, it just resonated. It's like growing lights. You know, it's just like,
you're like what you intentionally
it's
started
like,
with.
that's literally what like I want, just like growing lights. You know, it's just like, I don't need to be every like fire, like, you know, I can just invite people to fire and light with me.
And we do that a lot as women. We like put ourselves in a situation where we're like, we need to do everything. Like, no, I need to do everything because I don't want nobody like to think I'm a fake or anything, or just to be like, you know, I need to know this because how is that gonna take apart with other people looking at me? And then we don't realize that we don't have to. We don't really have to do that. Like, we can step back and have somebody who really knows the craft and appreciate it and respect it and share it in the world.
Yes.
You know, that's
exactly.
And we get to a point where we're just like, I'm pretty sure you were just going nuts, thinking like, how the heck am I gonna do this?
Oh my God, I was going crazy. I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna know, like, where am I gonna get the time to learn about all of these and like the practice and all of that?
And you already have like A, B, and C, and D, and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I know, it was crazy. Yeah. But like, you know what's funny? A lot of those stuff come from just family, like family trauma or stuff like that. You know, because I mean, to be honest, like, my family is incredible. I am like,
oh yeah, no,
yeah, it's just the funny thing of like, doesn't matter how like incredible your family is, there are gonna be things that you're gonna like adopt in your adulthood that you are not gonna realize that it just affected you in a negative way. And it's not that your family did it to fuck you over.
No,
that's
generation to generation.
Exactly.
And then we are starting to realize that we don't have to do that. So we have to break it through. I know this because I have my daughter, and everything that my mom, I love my mom, but my mom is a hard ass. Like, big time hard ass. And the things that I learned from her, I'm like, I do not want my daughter to grow up having these traumas. Like, I don't want to implement, and it's in like our past generation, our moms, or parents, like, that's what they grew up and that's what they stick with, because they didn't have anybody, honestly, nowadays, they didn't have nobody out there really saying like, that's traumatic, like, you should like actually look into a therapist or talk to someone in regards of that, or like love yourself more, because nobody was really out there doing it. Nowadays, with the media, social media and everything, it's out there, and it makes you think like, wait a minute, that's trauma. Like, wait, because I do that.
Exactly.
And then you kind of think about it, and you're just like, And the more, it's like an elephant in your head. Like, we put just an elephant in your head. Now it's growing. And you're just like, wait, I need to, like, look into it. And then you realize, like, I need to heal this trauma. Like, I am seeing that this is not right. Like, I need to be me. And that's what it is. I don't think this whole generation, with everything that's going on, it was not there at our parents' time.
No, they didn't have that.
No. And that is why it kept going. And now it's, like, really stopping.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, couldn't agree more. That's just like this generation, we have like so much more like reach to all of these things that is just like making us more aware of these things. And like what I was gonna say is just like this part of like trauma about like I have to do it all myself comes from my dad, because I was an only child, you know. I grew up being an only child until 18, and my dad always wanted the best for me, you know, like he was always just like really raising me to be like just my own boss, man, like him. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you don't need anybody, you have to do it all yourself, you blah blah blah, if you want to succeed you don't have to trust anybody and all that kind of thing,
which is not bad to motivate you to do your things on your own.
Absolutely.
But it gets to a point where you're just like, whoa, like I really need to do this for my dad, and you don't realize like I don't really have to do this. Like, I have the equipments that he gave me, and I can utilize them, but it doesn't mean I have to do it the way he's telling me.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep. And that is one of the things that I have had to heal and outgrown so long, because I am a daddy's girl. So that is just like, before it was like what my father says
goes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I will blindly follow him. And then I will realize that I was hurting myself.
Yeah.
You know, I was like slowly realizing that I was hurting myself by just like, you know, trying to like meet his expectations and trying to, you know, like please him, like, you know, like just like just be who he wanted me to be, by me just like putting aside who I am.
Yeah.
You know, about like all of these stuff.
This was as a parent, I realized that my kids need to grow to be themselves, and I play a big part of raising them, directing them the right way, the most possible way, but in the end of the day, they are responsible of doing their own things. And I don't want them to feel like if they fail, oh my God, what is my mom gonna think? No, like, I'll support you. Like, that's what life is about, you know. Having 3 boys that are autistic, you know, their whole entire time in life, they're treated good because that's how the school was treating them. But guess what? The minute they step in the real world, it's not like that. So it's like, basically, when it comes to the kids, a lot of our parents, like, they just mold us to be them. But it's like, dude, no, we can't. Like whatever expectations that you couldn't reach and you're trying to make me reach, it's kind of fucking me up here. And that's what it is. And that's not what I want for my kids. And when I see our parents doing that, where I'm just like, I'm not you. Like, I can't be you. Like, you are you. And if you need to improve, like, that's on you, man. Like, you know, I'll support you. But they don't get that. Again, they come from another place where this is not, it's actually frowned upon to talk about. Talk about therapists? Nah. ¿Por qué?
Yeah, it's like if you talk about therapists, it's like there's something wrong with you. Like my dad will be.
It's like the devil. Like what?
Yeah. Or like my dad will always be like, why would I go to a therapist? He can't fix my problems. I'm the only one who can fix my problems. Like, why would I go to tell somebody my life if I am the only one?
I feel like the therapist would be like, well, that is the issue that we're having now, right? Like, that is why we're here.
Exactly, but it's just hilarious.
Yeah, because they're just like, again, they're raised like that. Because
it's just what we said is just like they are doing the best they can with what they know.
Yes, and like you said, they're beautiful, wonderful, but I think this is the era of us breaking through all that, and then whatever children we bear, we are not following those same steps. So it's a whole, and you can see it, it's a whole different generation.
Yes.
Like, you could see, like, even my son who's 18, he is very, like, he's like, did you have to deal with the Karen? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, damn, like, that's really bad. Why do they act like that? And I'm just like, some people just think that they're entitled, and that happens. And I want you to understand, whenever that happens, just stay cool, don't overreact or anything. Compared to our parents telling us, like, either there's two directions. Either they're gonna, like, beat the shit out of that Karen, or the second would be they're really fucking scared and just be like, okay, it's okay, let's just walk away from the situation. I don't want this to escalate. It might get in trouble with the law and stuff like that. So, but nowadays it's like, no, my kids are learning to be like, no, like, that's not how you act, and I'm not going to take it. Like, I'm going to be respectful and talk to you, but you're not going to talk to me like that.
Yeah, because, like, at the end of the day, it's just what we all know by now. The only thing that we are responsible for is ourselves and how we react to things.
Yeah.
So we can still stand our ground without reacting or, like, letting the other person get to you.
Yeah,
or,
because
like,
guess what? We're letting that energy come in, and then that messes it up, like, the rest of it. Like, we're like, in the end, you're thinking, fuck, she, like, fucked up my day. No, you fucked up your day. You let that person, whether he or she or whatever, fuck up your day. Like, you, like, if, like, someone said, fuck, I don't like your hair today, and you're just like, what the fuck, like that, no, you're kind of just like, all right, well, that's on you, man, not on me. I love my hair.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't like it,
and it happens, and, like, sometimes, like, sometimes it's very funny, because today happened something like that, like, to me. Like, I got in a little bit of, like, a rocky space with my stepmom last night, and I realized that today I was, like, grumpy, and I still had, like, some, like, holding on to that. Then we sort of talked about it, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then I left them in Anaheim for Disney, and then I came to LA, and I'm just like, why is this still here? Why am I not letting go? Like, it's just, and I'm just like, I'm very aware of those stuff. Like, now it's just like, why is this affecting me so much? And then I went to the shower, and I'm just like, just taking a shower, and there's just like, you know what? Let me kneel, and then just be right under the shower. Then just breathe, and then just like, okay, am I acknowledge that, like, this is affecting me somehow, and, like, I don't know where it's coming from exactly, and this is something for me to explore later, because I was getting ready to come here. Like, this is something for me to explore later, because if this is affecting me right now, there is something deeper there that I don't know what's affecting. I don't know if it's my inner child that got hurt. I don't know, like, what it is, but I know, like,
if it's still lingering, something's
up. So I'm just like, I just put, like, a little, like, bookmark on it, and I'm just like, well, I get to explore this now, because until I don't realize where this is coming from and heal it and start evolving, it's gonna happen again, and I don't want to.
Yeah, that's what people need to learn, is that when you're having those moments, like, you really need to reflect. Like, it's not the easiest. It's not easy to reflect. It's not. Like, that's the hardest thing for us, to reflect on ourselves, because one thing we do try to avoid is just like, oh, okay, if you, like, someone would be feeling like the way you're feeling, they would be like, all right, cool, let's just, like, dig deep and just drop it in there and forget. Guess what? You just, like, dig it deeper, but you didn't, like, resolve it or anything. For you, what you're doing, you're just like, I noticed something's deeper than that. I need to reflect on that. And that's okay. And that's good.
Exactly.
That's
no,
really good.
and it is great. And, one thing that, like, is very interesting is just, like, the journey of, like, healing and spirituality is not a fucking walk in the park.
No, I hate when people think it's like okay, I don't know who the whoever sees it in this building, I don't know who the fuck, like, started burning sage out there. They just started saging the whole hallway, and I was like, it smells like it's burning, like, what's going on? And I go out there. Apparently somebody was, like, in this floor putting sage up there, and I had to open the window because it was, like, really bad. And I got super mad because I was just like, when you sage, you must seal it, because you're clearing out all energy. You're not just clearing out bad energy. You're clearing out good energy. Sage is to clear all the energy, and then you have to put the intentions of good energy, and then you have to lock it with dragon's blood, so nothing else can fuck with it, because now you have an open like energy that anything can come in. And I was just like, they just probably saw some fucking TikTok thing and said, I'm just gonna sage it to cleanse. And I'm like, it's breathe. Like you said, it's not a walk in the park when it comes to the stuff, and it's not bullshit, you know, because a lot of people really do take it serious.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I was like, oh great. And I shit you not, like, this building is old. Yeah. I shit you not, I was like, oh, there's gonna be stuff happening here, and there was stuff happening. I was just like, really? I had told him, like, I told him, can you walk me to the bathroom? Did I not tell you to walk me to the bathroom? Because I'm very sensitive. So I was like, can you walk me to the bathroom? I just don't feel right. It just feels heavy in the hallway. And he would walk me because I felt heavy after they did that, and I knew it. And I was like, I got no drunken's blood here or anything. Like, oh, fuck. But yeah, like, people, my example to the story is that it's not a walk in the park. You have to educate and respect the craft. You know, you have to learn about it.
Yeah, you get to learn about it, you get to respect it, that's for sure. And, like, also, just realize that it's just not a walk in the park. It's just like these people who have, like, toxic positivity. That is just like, bro, stop.
Have you ever? Yeah, I've met people like that. I've met people like that. They would be, like, super positive, but there's something off, and you're just like, and then you realize, like, oh.
But it's a thing that you can feel.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
which
you
is
feel,
like,
that's why I said you feel it.
Yeah.
I didn't say, like, you can notice it. Like, you feel it, and you're just like,
Yeah, is that energy, the, like, because we're in that era that everybody knows or is starting to know about healing and all of that stuff.
Which has been around for hundreds of years, by the way.
Yes. Right? It's been around forever.
Yes.
You know, it's just like before it was even taboo to talk about all of these. And, like, now people are just starting to just, like, open up. And as you said, like, we have social media. We have so many places to go and look for it now. Like, we have, like, TikTok that can be, like, shoving it in your face. You know?
Yes.
And it's, like, it's great. And it also comes with the bad stuff.
Yeah.
As everything.
The good and the bad, yeah.
You know, it's like a yin and yang. It's like the shadow and the light.
Yeah.
Everything gets to, like, if everything has a lot of good, there is also, like, everything, let me just put it better. If everything has Saray, go back to English.
You can say it in Spanish.
Huh?
You can say it in Spanish.
It's like
he can put the little subtitles.
It's like my brain gets scrambled.
No, you
I'm
can,
just like,
because prior to we were speaking Spanish to another one.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I'll tell him what to write.
If something comes out in Spanish, I'll just let it go and we'll go into Spanglish stuff. But if something has a lot of light, it has to have a lot of shadow.
Yeah, there's darkness.
It's just the balance. It's just the balance. So, like, with all the good stuff that we are starting to see in the spiritual work and all that stuff, like, it's great, and it also has a lot of shadow.
Yes, and that's what people need to know. Like, there is. Like, once you are aware of stuff and you're very in tune, there is a dark side to it. It is not pretty, and you have to, like, protect yourself so much.
Yes, especially when you're doing...
And it's not just spirituality. It's not just that.
Oh, yeah.
It's in general for everything. Yeah.
It's in everything.
Yeah.
It's in everything. That's what, like, you get to just, like, just notice and then just be aware of it, you know?
It's like a storm. What happens to the storm? We have a big storm. I mean, I love the rain, but if it's, like, a really nasty storm where it's, like, flooding and stuff, it's horrible. But what happens after? How do we see the sky? How do we see the whole world?
Yeah.
How do we see the plants?
Well, yeah, it's also, like, I'm going to put the example of COVID.
Oh.
COVID was horrible, of course.
Yeah, but
But, like, when, like, the whole world was shut down for, like, I don't know, like 2 complete months, 3 complete months, like, where, like, it was totally quarantined.
Yeah.
Nature started growing.
Yeah.
Nature started just replenishing itself.
Yep.
Just like crazy, like dolphins, everything. It's just like, whoa. Like,
I think the canal rivers were, like, clear.
Yes. Yeah, so it's just like, it's like, so you have COVID, which is a lot of shadow.
Which I don't know.
And then you have nature, which is a lot of light.
It's like, we're going to, like, cover this up. Yeah.
Which is one thing that, like, talking to a friend, I don't remember who it was, we were just talking about all of these things that happened during COVID that were good, like nature. And we were like, I wish, like, the whole world will come together and there is, like, 1 week a year, like just 1 week or 2 weeks, where everybody in the world just like gets to quarantine for like a week or two every year. So like to give nature that chance again.
I know.
Just to give nature that chance and make it some sort of law or something.
It would be amazing. Incredible. I would love that. I would totally.
And then just give people 2 weeks of vacations or something. We're like, because at the beginning of the quarantine, I was like having a blast the first 2 weeks. Then I went crazy because I'm a people person.
I was working almost like 7 days a week for 2 years straight because I actually like the building that's over here. I used to have my optometry business there, and I worked full time. So I was like full time there doing this, trying to make sure like if I make enough money here, I can leave that one. And then everything hit. I lost that. I lost the job. But the funny thing, the whole losing thing was until like the end of the 2020. But in the beginning, I was like vacation mode for like that whole year, like almost half of that year. I felt vacation mode. I'm like I also like to hang around with people and stuff, but seriously, I was just like, whoa, what does this say? I needed a break, and a break of like months, because I didn't feel. I mean, I saw everything. I had to go out and get stuff. I see it. I was not naive about it. But I noticed that when I would be home, I can sleep in a little later. I can be around my kids, make breakfast, like all this stuff. It was so like peaceful. It was very peaceful. I felt like I was in a vacation.
Yeah.
For it, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which makes you think like we all need like the earth needs that too.
Yeah. Yeah, the earth does need that. It's just like, it's just again, everything comes back to balance. Because then you can also have like, imagine that you're like the wealthiest person on earth and you don't really have to work 1 day of your life, and then you have like endless holidays. Life loses its meaning. If you're not doing something for like someone or for your like life loses its meaning. And I've heard a lot of like interviews with like people that have retired and like didn't want to work anymore, and then like after a while they got bored. Then they start doing something else. And the same thing like when you are a workaholic and you never stop, sadly that affects your body, your mental health, and like it's something like eventually will affect you.
No, yeah, it does. It does. It really does. I met a lot of retirees where I worked before, and a lot of them were retired, and they were just like, yeah, I have like, don't know what to do. Like, some of them are like, oh, I do golf, but they do golf like almost every day, all day. So it's like, okay, so you picked up a hobby. You're trying to do something not to bore you. And then there are other people where it's like, no, I just try to help out. I do this. I put meaning to what I'm doing, because you could do so much cleaning your house. That's what I've heard of, like, you could do so much cleaning your house, and I was like, that's very true. I think a lot of people like that are workaholics or retired, they just realize that they have to focus on themselves. And again, retired, I mean older people, not like rich ass people that are young and just retired. Older people that were in that stigma of how life is supposed to be for them. Now that they're in a position where they can focus on themselves, they're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know this feeling. This is a weird feeling. Like, is this a good feeling? Like, working on me? They don't know. And I saw that so much with a lot of elderlies, like, retiring. And some were just like, they knew what they were doing because they were very spiritual. And they're like, oh, yeah. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm having a blast. Like, we're doing this. We're enjoying life.
Ah, that's awesome, though.
Yeah. Yeah, because they knew them. They already done their search, and they still continued in their search, which is amazing.
Yeah, and which is a beautiful thing, too, because it's like a journey. It never ends. So it never ends.
Never
It's
ends.
one of the things that like she's like.
It's always growing.
Some people go into it with the mindset of like I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna love myself until I'm like perfect and I reach the perfect state and I don't have to do anything.
It's never perfect.
And I'm just like good luck.
It's never perfect.
No, it's not, because we are also evolving creatures. So we're constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So we're constantly working on something, and there is always something new that is just going to surface, and it's just going to be like, oh, I didn't have these 5 years ago, but I have these now that I didn't think that I was going to go through, so now I get to work on that.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, think about it where you're at now.
Mm-hmm.
You're here, sitting down, doing a podcast, when you just said you had no freaking money, and a friend just said, okay, in 5 days I need you to sell your candles, and you're just like, oh shit, I gotta figure this out. Compared to today.
Mm-hmm. Completely.
It's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. So yeah, it's just one thing that is just, and enjoying the journey is also not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah.
You know?
Hear that, people? Every woman that I've talked to,
Mm-hmm.
same thing that you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
And it's normal.
Exactly.
People need to know this is normal. This is okay. It's okay to say it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like, you know, the outside you see, oh, you know, I'm doing good. But not really, like, I am doing good, but I mean, it's hard. You know, I get through moments where, like, mini depressions or
Mm-hmm.
anxiety and how am I going to pay this?
Yeah.
You know, it's normal to feel like it's not easy.
Yes. It's normal to feel it. It's normal to start acknowledging, recognizing it, so you know. You know, because the problem is when we don't know. When we were talking about depression earlier.
Yep.
It's like,
We didn't know.
we didn't know. I didn't know I was depressed. I was just like laying on my couch watching TV, like doing nothing, just like, you know. And then then years after that, I got into that space again, and I'm like, wait a minute.
You
I
recognize
know this.
You recognize it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. I've been here before. I've done this before. Oh, I know what this is. I know what this feeling is. Oh, okay. I gotta start working on this and like do something, because I know if I stay here, I'm gonna stay here for a long time,
Yeah.
and I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't. No, that's a good thing. We recognize those things
Mhm.
until we actually like reflect back to like, oh no. And that's good that you know that. Like, it's good that you recognize that space.
Mhm.
It's good that you allow yourself to get to that space and say, okay, I did it. I recognize it. Let's move forward from it, because I don't want to get stuck here.
Yeah, and sometimes that is also tricky, because sometimes I can feel that like I want to be stuck here. You know, I want to be stuck because I literally feel like shit. And I literally, it's
But
like,
that's okay too.
but that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
just, it's totally okay. It's just like acknowledge it. Like, you know, it's like that kind of like the light and the shadow. Just like be in the shadow for a second, because like you need to acknowledge that, because you cannot ignore it. Because if you ignore it, then it's just gonna come back stronger.
It's stronger. It's darker. It's harder to get out of.
Yeah. So it's horrible. So it's just knowing that it's like, oh my god, I really feel like I want to feel like shit for a whole month. I'm gonna give myself 3 days.
And that's the key.
Mhm.
What did you just say? I'm going to give myself.
Mhm.
Because you're already aware of what you're going through.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm going to allow myself to do this for a couple days. And then I already know what to do to get myself out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then put like a reminder, a phone or something. Just like schedule it something like with a friend in those 3 days. Just schedule something with somebody that you can't move. So
Yeah.
you start moving.
Yeah.
Like energy in motion, you
Yeah.
know, just like move those energies.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard to get out of there because it just feels like the thing is crumbling
It's
down.
what we think it's comfortable, but it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's weird how our mind plays saying that that's comfortable, but it's really not comfortable. It's just a moment of pause for us to just everything to die temporarily and then revive itself.
Yes, exactly.
So, and it's okay, because what happens when we get down? Like, we fall, we get up. You know, that it's a constant thing. As entrepreneurs, as being our own bosses, that is every day.
Don't you say.
It's an everyday thing. Like, it's Monique from the other podcast was talking about, like, you know, I have to motivate myself. I have to, like, okay, I have to get up. I have to do this, because if I, like, don't continue doing it, you know, then I'm in that negative space, and I don't want to be there. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, we are. And it's hard for us. We were talking about how it's easy for us to work at a 9 to 5 because it's already structured for us. It's autopilot.
Right.
But when we're doing ourselves, nobody really has a guide. Like how we're talking about parents, there's no guideline for parents. Well, there's no guidelines for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, there isn't.
Nope. No,
It's
you make your guideline. Like, you're, like, in chapter 33, page 39. Like, oh, okay, this is what I gotta do. Okay, more things to put in there.
Yes. It's that thing, like, as you said, like, there is a bunch of books.
And you're revising your own guideline, too. You're like, let me go back to chapter 1. I gotta revise this.
I know. That's hilarious. But, yeah, like, you're always just, like, tweaking stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's a trial and error.
Yeah.
Over and over again. You're gonna try something. Sometimes it's gonna work. Sometimes it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And you get to, like, go back a couple steps and see how you can do it differently.
True.
You know?
That's very, very true. So what do you do to kind of defunk yourself?
Defunk myself?
Like you were talking about how, like, you allow yourself to go through those dark moments. What, besides hanging out with friends, what do you do for yourself to kind of get out of that negative space?
To get out of the negative space, what do I, apart from, a lot of it is just hanging out with people, to be honest.
It's the energy from other people.
It's the energy from other people.
That's what it is.
It's the energy from other people, because when I'm in that dark space, I'm, like, by myself. I don't want anyone in. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want anybody to see me.
Like the total opposite of what brings you back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's the total opposite. And then what I do is just like, okay, I have an incredible group of friends, an incredible community. And, you know, I start just like texting people like, hey, let's just go have coffee. Let's just go hang out. Let's just go watch a movie. And also I'm a movie nerd. So like going to the movies is like my happy place. It's just like, God. I'm just going like, oh.
I'm going to tell you. So Anthony wasn't really, it was not a good day. And I was like, fuck, like, I need to like pump up my man, you know, he's my partner. I gotta pump him up. That's what we do. So I had got, tickets for the theater that's down here in Whittier. And I told him, hey, let's go watch a movie. And he's like, for real? So I'm like, yeah, let's go watch a movie. Come on, let's go. I swear to you, it's just like what you're saying. Like I was like, did this help you? He's like, yeah, you have no idea. It helped me so much. Right, babe? It really did. It really helped him. It wasn't a good day for him. And then when we went to go watch a movie, I told him, look, let's just go. Just focus on the movie. Forget about everything else. We're here. This is the reason why you love the theater, because you're a director. You love all of this. Just get into the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And he felt better. Like, he felt better. Even, I mean, the issue's still there, but, I mean, you got to feel better in order to push forward whatever problems is ahead of you. Because if you push forward negatively, nothing's really going to move. Yeah. And you're just going to put more negative aspect to that problem. So.
Exactly. And sometimes when you manage yourself to get out of that, like, icky place, and then it's just, like, you go to the movies, and you, like, pamper yourself a little bit with that. Like, you actually come up with a solution to something sometimes. Yeah. A lot of the times, actually. You're like, holy shit, let me actually do this, you know, once you're out. Yeah. Because, like, when you're inside, like, even if you get the solution when you're in that gloomy place, it just looks like a gloomy solution.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too,
so
like,
it doesn't seem, like, great.
It's like a little bright light thrown at you, and you're just like, well...
It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, how am I gonna have it?
How is this gonna help? But if you have that idea, and you're in a better, happy, positive state, and you rethink that idea again, you're just like, wait... That's actually really good.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So for me it's just people. For me it's people and like film, because I love film. I came to LA for like filmmaking, and going to the movies always work. What does not work, which is very interesting, is lock myself in my apartment watching a bunch of shit. That does not work, which is very interesting, because it's just like, then I'm going to use that as like my escape, and I'm just going to keep being depressed while watching something that I like, but I'm still depressed, which is very weird. But once I'm out of my house, it changes.
Yeah.
Once as I'm out of my house and I'm sharing, again, just like sharing this excitement or the movies or something with someone, it just fills me up with happiness.
Yeah, it's your energy booster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's good because there are other people that actually are a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's people that are, like, for me to energize myself, I need to be more of a like, quiet place,
Mm-hmm.
journaling, doing
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. And then everyone's different. I like yours because it's, like, people out there, if they're more like that outgoing, I get more energy with people, like, do that.
Yeah.
But again, what is it that you did? Allowed yourself to be in that
Mm-hmm.
negative space,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that you're in that negative space, and then just like, all right, you're gonna have to like get out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and you know it,
Mm-hmm.
and then structuring that way,
Yeah.
which is okay. It's okay to. We all need to be there. You know, how the heck are we
We
gonna
do.
get better if we're not?
We do. We
Yeah.
all get to be there at some point or another. It's just like, it's just life.
Yeah,
It's just life.
it's life. Yeah. Nobody
You
talks
know,
about
there's
this.
ups and downs.
It would be nice
like-
if there's a classroom about it, but
I know,
there is
but
no.
we are in the classroom.
The only one I could think of that's close enough is philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one I can think of. Philosophy.
That's very interesting.
That's the only one, because I remember taking a course in college, and the first thing he would make us do is having this breathing technique, like a yoga breathing technique, where we sit down, and he's like, okay, I want you guys to close your eyes. Now breathe in and out. Now concentrate on your feet. Breathe in and out and concentrate. Now move that concentration to your knees. Now move that concentration to your hands. Now move it to your heart. Now move it to your head. And now release any negative or anything that's been passed, and be focused in classroom. That was a philosophy class. That was our startup.
great.
That was our startup. That was the only thing I could think of right now that's like spiritually, I guess. But even then, philosophy is in regards of life. Of I always say philosophy is like quotes. Not there's more into it. So if there's people listening and watching and they're philosophers, I'm so sorry, but that's how I see it. I only took one class in college, and I was like, what?
Well, you took more than I did, so.
It really is like that, but it's crazy because that's the only thing I can really reference saying anything to do with like negative and positive space to it, you know? But yeah, it's good that you're talking about this, because women need to know out there that even if they're in a dark place, you know, try to think about what brings you outside from that. What makes you happy?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like we're all different. So what makes me get out of there might not be the same that what makes you get out of that place.
But you can try it.
You can try it.
Yeah,
exactly.
nobody says you can't.
But
you can try
exactly,
it, and
so
then
that's
you can
one thing.
tweak it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's one thing with like all the information that we have out there. A lot of people just like try to just like, this is how they say I should do it, so I should just get married to this idea. And then it's like, has it been working for you? No, but they say that it works. Why don't you try something else? You know?
Yeah.
And it's just it's we're not cookie cutters.
No.
You know, we're
Yeah,
humans,
no.
we're not cookie cutters,
No.
obviously. We're like flesh, but like
No.
you know what I mean.
It's like influencers. Like they're out there and they're just like, this is amazing. You should like totally get this, you know, because this might work for your face. And you're like, dude, your face is like, I don't know what your face is. I don't know, your T-zone or whatever it is. Like that's one thing I'm not a big fan of influencers sometimes, just because it's like whatever works for you may not work for others. So you should disclaim that out there. A lot of influencers do not, like, there's some that I follow that I'm like, they disclaim it. They're just like, it might not help for you, but you can try it out. You know, you can use it in whatever like thing has to do. But yeah, like, it may not work for me, but I can try it. And if it kind of, I feel like I'm gravitating and I'm kind of like, okay, this might work, but I might want to like tweak it. Nobody says you got to do the same thing.
Exactly.
You don't have to follow the directions. Yeah,
Exactly. It's like, for me, yoga, for example. I personally do not like yoga because I am just like very hyper. So when I go into yoga,
they're like,
it's just
you need to shush and concentrate.
and I'm just like,
position yourself,
and then breathe into it. It's like, I want to move, you know? But then I took a class of like Kung Fu yoga or something like that. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Because it had a lot of yoga, but it also had like some kicks in it. And like I do martial arts. I'm like a black belt in karate.
Oh.
And I love martial arts. So I was like, this is great. And there were moments of like, you know, like a kick here and then bring it back slowly, and that's challenging. That's challenging because of the balance and everything.
Yes.
And then there were moments of like winding down, and it's just like breathe into it. It's like, oh my god, this kind of yoga is incredible. Like, and I was like, and I was thinking, and then it makes sense to me in that moment why there is a lot of people who love yoga. In that moment, I realized, because before I was like, yoga is like blah blah blah, and I was just so much
just like,
judgment. It's like,
heck?
why?
Oh,
But like
yeah.
then when I tried it in a different way, that is connected to yoga, I was like, oh, now I get why people love yoga.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's a good way to say, 'cause it's a good thing to say, because in the end it's sort of like, do not mash it up and throw it away until you figure out like, okay, what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
You worked out the kinks and you found something that's that yoga too.
Mm-hmm.
And you found out why yoga is so good.
I know.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. I swear to God, when like that clicked, that I was just like, you know, like the guy at some point was just like, breathe into the whatever, and I'm just like, and then I went into a meditative state, and then I came out of it, and I'm like, oh, so this is what yoga is.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
mostly going into, if you're not going to those yogas where it's like, I just want to go to yoga. If you're actually going to a place where it's like,
For all of those listening, you should have just seen the flip hair where it's like, oh, I just want to go to yoga, flip hair.
it's true, I flip my hair. It's like yoga. I actually prefer yoga in like where it's more meditation, where the instructor kind of just like, okay, this is, we're doing these, and if you can't do it, it's okay, but we're gonna meditate and breathe. I like that. I really don't like ones that are like, you go, like seriously, you go in and they're just like, okay, people, let's meditate, let's breathe, let's sit down, let's do this, and I'm just like, no, I kind of want my instructor to be more like, I guess, more like a monk, just to kind of like soothe me, because that's how it makes sense to me. And then someone who would appreciate to tell me, okay, let me help you with the pose. If this doesn't work, then this works. Because a lot of yoga places think that you know the poses.
I know.
I'm just saying, people.
I'll be like falling all the time. It's like, if you can't do it, go to child. I'll be child pose the whole fucking class. I'll be like, can't do anything.
But it's true. A lot of these studios are like thinking that you can do them, and then some of them are not really like, oh, this is advanced or this is beginners. Like they don't really indicate that, and I'm just like, what the heck?
I know.
They don't.
And that's what makes me frustrated sometimes, because like I cannot put my feet around my neck. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Like, people.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It's crazy, but yeah, it's so fun to see. I just love that, like, those moments of realization where you might not like something, but then you understand why some people do
Like
and why
it.
it's important.
Yes.
And it's just like, it's that respect of like, oh, okay, it's not for me, but I can totally respect people who love it, because now I understand.
Yeah, and you found something that is a mix of it,
Mhm.
and then you love it.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It's like,
and you
I want to
love
go
it.
again, but
Yeah.
like, I think it was during pandemic, so I have no idea where they were, because it was online. And I was
Oh,
like,
no.
where are they?
Oh, that would be really cool. My daughter has a red, I think it's a red belt. I have to check. I can't remember if it's brown or red, for Taekwondo.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, but then COVID hit and we couldn't finish it and
Ugh.
stuff. Yeah, and then she's just not into it anymore.
Oh.
It just happened that way. But it's funny because one day, like, something, what was it, Anthony? Was it something like a bang or something that happened and she just, like, posed?
Oh, I think your son like made a loud sound with a gate or something.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden she's like, and we're just like, what
Yeah.
the heck? What
She
was-
just put her guard up, like, ready to fight anything that was coming her way. That's incredible. I love that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just like, what?
It's muscle memory.
Yep.
It's muscle
Yep,
memory.
that's what it was.
Like,
That's
it's so
what it
funny
was.
because, like, I've had those moments where I'm just, like, hyper vigilant, too. And, like, I'm already just, like, you know, something happens and I'm just turned and I'm like kind of like ready to whatever.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. One thing that is so cool too from karate, like my reflexes are pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, all the time like something is about to fall, I usually grab it. And usually people is like, great grab. And I'm like,
I think
I couldn't have done that if I was like trying to grab it, believe me.
I think
Like,
it's
it's
people
just
who have really good intuitions are really good with that. Because that happens to me a lot. That happens to me, well, except my phone, which I think Anthony can attest with that.
My phone is also
But there'll
like,
be a bunch of stuff that I'll be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I'm just like, how the heck did I do that? I'm like, oh god, I hope that doesn't go away when I'm getting older. I hope it's still there.
Yeah, me
But
too.
yeah, you're just like, you're just
grab
like,
it, it's just like you impress yourself. It's
for
like,
a second, you're like, I'm a ninja. For a second, you're like, yes.
I'm a ninja.
I have
Wait, I almost
powers.
destroyed your set.
No. I'm like, I have powers.
Yes, that's so cool. But like the funny thing is like when I purposely try to catch it, I don't.
That's different.
Yeah.
That is very true. When you are purposely trying to catch it, you don't. Because then you're just like, oh man.
You're thinking too much.
Too much, yeah.
You're thinking too much. But whereas when it just happens and then
You're
your brain is not, your
let's do it.
body's just doing
Yeah.
it for you, which I love.
Yeah,
it's kind of
that's-
like Spidey senses.
It is like Spidey senses. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being here. This is amazing. Everything that we talked to, it was amazing. Like, the stuff that you go through, like, I hope somebody does allow themselves to be in that dark space and then build themselves up away from that and then be better at it.
Mm-hmm.
Where can people find you?
Well, at this moment, Instagram and TikTok.
What's the Instagram?
Instagram is growinglight.bysb and TikTok is the same thing. And yeah, that's it.
And
I'm
the
still-
upcoming website, right?
And the upcoming website, it's going to be www. Redundant. growinglightsbysb.com. You can also email me actually to growinglightsbysb11@gmail.com.
Nice. And the website sounds cool because you're going to have collaborations, which you went the aha moment for it, which your friend was like, hey, man, like, dude, you can just have people there. And you're like, oh. All this time
like-
I've been suffering. It's like, okay.
I know.
The universe was like, okay, here we go.
I know.
Like, it's like you're working too hard. Like, let me just throw this at you.
Hey, the universe is like, she's not getting it.
Like, we're
She's
throwing
not
shit.
getting
Like,
it.
yeah, like,
I'll be like, the universe is like, you know what? Here you go.
Yeah, like,
you're not getting
literally.
it. Just have it. Just have it real quick before I change my mind. It's like, oh, I don't have to do anything.
exactly. It
everything
seems
myself.
like that, right? It does seem like
I
that.
know.
It's so
It's like
crazy.
you've seen me struggling about this for over a year. It's like, yeah, she's suffering enough. Let's give her the clue.
Yeah, because
She's not getting it.
that was just like a quick thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, oh. But I love the website thing that you're gonna collab with other people, and I love that you're gonna have like these pamphlets in regards of your candles, like talking about it. Because in the end of the day, look, if you are not spiritual, not to say that you don't have to, but you can definitely put intentions into anything. So if you were to get growing light candles, like, trust me, you can put the intentions in there. The whole point is to just think about what you want to manifest and what you want to bring. And guess what? That energy is going to reflect back to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's everything is all in the energy and the intention. Like the energy that you put in it and like out there is gonna come back to you.
Yep.
So it's just about like learning how to focus our energy.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And like setting intentions doesn't have to be difficult.
No, it could be
It's
something very
very
simple. Like,
easy.
it doesn't even have to be like, oh yeah, year from now. You could just be like, you know what? I want to have a really great weekend and I want to stay positive, and you can literally just do something so simple like, let me just have a great Saturday and just enjoy the day. And guess what? You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised because you already put that intention. Your brain and body is like, we have to have a good day on Saturday. Let's try to make it.
Yes.
And that's what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So don't get scared about starting to set intentions. It's really very, very easy. Very easy. You just focus, breathe, and then you just think about like the day, whatever you want to work on that day. My intention for today is to breathe through the things that made me reactive.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
And once you set that intention, you'll keep reminding yourself.
Yeah, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally there. And guess what? You do have a day where you're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I gotta go through this.
Yeah. Sometimes also when we have like, oh, my intention for today is to be peaceful. Okay, peaceful is very broad.
On what?
On what do you
Yeah.
want to be peaceful?
Yeah.
You know, is it just like you want to not react as much, so just like breathe a little bit more? Like, what is it? Because like also peaceful can be very broad.
Yeah,
So
you have
just
to
focus.
remember the universe will
Mhm.
be like peaceful. All right, well, I'll throw it on this way, and you're like, that's not what I really meant.
I know. It's crazy. Yeah, the universe has a very mysterious way of working, guys.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's really
So
weird.
be very specific.
Yeah, be like, you know what, today I want to be peaceful in my mind when I'm working, and I want to
Mhm.
concentrate more on this.
Mhm.
And that's what you do. And guess what? It really happens. And
Yeah.
even if you feel like it didn't happen, guess what? You made the intention to do
Mhm.
it. It might not have been that day. Maybe it's going to be the next day.
Mhm.
So as long as you stay positive, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you for having me. This has
Yes.
been incredible. This is my first time in a podcast.
No
so It's like,
way!
yeah. So it's been so much fun.
Oh, how awesome. Well, yeah, you're natural.
Oh, thank you.
Like, natural. Like, I would never thought that you didn't do it before.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
that's
this
what I'm saying.
This is
I'm
my
a
first
people-
time hosting, so, like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a people person.
You're totally a people person.
And I love
Yeah.
talking to people.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward for this. I'm
Oh,
really
yeah, it's going to be
excited.
amazing.
Yay.
Mr. Anthony is going to do his magic. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.